Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Today I wanted to do another reaction video reacting to one of my old videos. Those of you who watched the last video, you seem to really enjoy it. Thank you so much for letting me know that you enjoyed it. And I'm back now to react to more of my old videos. So the one that I'm going to react to today is my most viewed video, which is one that I made in January 2016 about what it was like to be a prefect. Now, prefects are in UK schools, and some schools in other countries as well, but there's a lot of countries that don't have prefects, and it's mentioned in Harry Potter and people don't know what it is, so I thought 2.5 years ago it would be fun to put on my prefect blazer and sit down and tell you what the deal was. So I did that, and I never thought that it would get 12,000 views. That's mad. I honestly didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but I'm glad that I was able to help people. I'm glad that you found it interesting, and I love that people are still commenting on that video 2.5 years later. So I still get comments on it all the time, but it's been a while since I've watched it back, so today we're going to react to that, and I'll see what I think after all of this time, and I hope you enjoy. Hi everyone! When I was at school, I was a prefect. This music is so loud. It's not just something that was made up for Harry Potter, and I look so serious as well. It's like I'm still at school. Schools as well, but it's maybe not one you've come across yourself. So I just thought I'd make a video about my experiences as a prefect and what I had to do. A prefect is basically a kid with good grades. That cut was super slow. Was there to help around the school and also make an example of themselves for the kids in the younger years. We had a blazer. Wait a minute, I need to stop this a minute. You could see a bit of white ribbon poking out one of the pockets. Now, what that was a pair of gloves that I had, and I thought they looked really cool, really gothic. But one time, my mum borrowed my blazer for work because they were having like a back to school day, and she pulled them out of their pockets, and they looked like really sexy underwear. And everyone was like, that was in Kate's pocket, and this was really awkward. But yeah, like that was like a pair of gloves that were kind of fingerless, and they were black and they had ribbon on, and they looked really cool, and I really liked them. And for some reason, they're still in my prefect pocket even now. But yes, definitely not underwear. Okay, let's continue. And then we also had a prefect badge to show that we were prefects. I get so many comments from people saying that their badges look the same. And my one they just get ordered from the same company, I think. And yes, houses are a real thing too. Just like in Harry Potter, we had little house competitions all year, and they'd count up the points and see who the winner was. It was kind of weird in our school because we had house points and houses and competitions and things, but we didn't really do anything with it. Like at the end of the year, they told us who the winner was, and we didn't really pay any attention to it. It was just kind of something that happened. If you ask me which house won each year at the school competition, I have no idea. I wasn't really interested in that, but maybe like the house captains were into it. I suppose they could go head to head with their friends. It wasn't really a big deal in our school. If your school have like house competitions and things, let me know if that's different, because I love the idea of house competitions being really fierce and competitive. I think that could be so much fun. Prefects were also used at my school to make the school look good, because we were basically ambassadors of the school. So we'd maybe pose for photos, or we'd show visitors around and find out about them. I used to do this all the time to get out of class. And it's also got you out of class. There we go, I've just said it there. Doing something a little different, which I really enjoyed. So I hope that's answered all your questions about prefects. If there's anything I've missed out or something else you maybe want to know more about, do let me know, and I'll maybe be able to help you. Thanks guys! Cheerio! That video was so short, and I get so many questions on it, and I feel like if I were to do it now, it would be a lot longer. It would maybe go into a lot more detail. I'd maybe tell you a few more stories, but at that time I seemed to like doing really short videos, so that's how it turned out. It was more like Prefect 101 than anything in depth. But yeah, let's go and have a look at the comments and see if there's anything else that I can tell you about prefects. I've got that music in my head, like the royalty-free music, because it was so loud. I don't know why it was so loud on that video. Like, I can understand what I was saying over it, but I feel like I could have maybe made it a little bit quieter. It is just like a music bed, it doesn't have to be like overwhelming the video. One of the first comments was my friend Patrick, and he was saying, having gone to public school in the US, it's fascinating to see how schools are organised in other countries. And I think that's why this video is so popular, because YouTube is worldwide, but not everybody has the same experiences, and it's really interesting to hear how other people have lived. So I agreed, and that was really cool to find out about. And incidentally, if anybody wants to tell me about what their school's like, I find that really interesting as well. How is your school organised? Is it the same as this, or is it different? Let me know. This is an interesting question. Somebody has said, I didn't know houses were a real thing. They went to England on an exchange trip and are familiar with prefects, but they hadn't ever heard of houses, and they wanted to know how that worked. Because in Harry Potter, you got the sorting hat, and the sorting hat told you what house you belonged in. In my school, it was a little bit different. The first rule was that if you had a brother or sister who was already in a house, you were in the same house as them. It was very, very unusual for a brother or sister to not be in the same house as the sibling. The only reason that could possibly happen is maybe if they were like stepsisters, stepbrothers, and they didn't live together. But generally, if they were living together as brother and sister, they were in the same house. So if you had an older brother or an older sister, you already knew which house you were going into. For me, I got placed into the house that I was in because my best friend at the time had a brother who was in our house. So she knew she was going to be in the yellow house, and I ended up in the yellow house because they decided that that would be the best place for me. I also had another best friend whose sister was in the yellow house, so they decided that if I went into a class with my friends, that would maybe be the best environment for me, and I'd be able to get along in class and there'd be at least some people that I knew. So they put me into the yellow house. And that's generally how it worked. They kind of looked at who your brothers and sisters were, and then who your friends were, and tried to figure out which classes would be best for you. A lot of people on this video have told me that they're going to be prefects, or they maybe want to be a prefect and they want to know how to get noticed by their school as somebody who can be a prefect. And really, I'd just say be a helpful member of the school community. Every school has a different way of picking prefects. They have their own rules as to what a prefect should be, who can go up to be a prefect and things like that. At my school, it was the 5th and 6th years. And generally, it was people with good grades the first year. And then in 6th year, it was basically everybody. I think they made everybody a prefect in 6th year. But yeah, just if there's any kind of interview process, then ask the teachers how you can stand out as a better person, maybe somebody that they want to, promote to being a prefect. Even just tell people that you're interested in being a prefect, because then they'll know that that's something that you're interested in. And when they're trying to pick people to be prefects, they'll think, yeah, Kate told me she wanted to do that. Kate told me she was interested in it. Put it out into the universe that you want to be a prefect, and that might maybe help you, and people might give you some tips on how to help. Another question I get asked is how other students reacted to me being a prefect. Did they always listen to me when I told them not to do things? And honestly, the answer is no. They didn't always listen to me. They didn't always respect that I was a prefect, and I was being told to tell them to do certain things. What would always be the challenge at our school in particular was when I had to guard a door. Like, sometimes we had to tell people not to go through certain doors, and they had to go to other doors, or they had to go a certain way down the corridor. And some of the students thought that was really stupid. And honestly, I thought it was really stupid as well. But we'd been told to do that, and I was going to get into trouble if I didn't enforce that. So I had to respect other people when they told me not to go down the corridor the wrong way, not to go through the door. And I had to try and get other people to respect that as well. And that could be really challenging. So what I'd say is, if you're in that sort of position where people are challenging you, try and work with the other prefects, work together as a team. And if you're really having issues, you can report people who are giving you trouble, and lots of trouble. But the other thing I would say as well is, don't put yourself in a position where you could get injured. One of my friends, she was protecting the door and she ended up injuring her hand because somebody pushed right into it, pushed right past her, and they basically took her arm with them. So, like, try and enforce the rules, but if somebody's really getting aggressive and really putting you in a dangerous situation, move out the way, tell a teacher, tell whoever you need to tell later. Because honestly, being a prefect isn't worth risking your life for. It really isn't. I've also been asked if being a prefect affects me after I've left school, and I feel like it's something that you can mention as experience on job applications, or maybe if you're going to college or university, you could mention it there as something that you've done, and that shows that you've developed leadership skills, which is really good. But other than that, it's not something that I really use in my day-to-day life. I don't feel like the people in my life know that I was a prefect, and it's not something that really comes up. It was just a really great experience when I was a kid. And another popular question on this video is what's with the dislikes, because I have 146 dislikes on this video, and some of them are from people who genuinely didn't enjoy the video, and that's cool, you're entitled to your opinion, but a lot of them are also from people who were paid to dislike the video, and there's a whole story about that. I'm going to leave the video explaining what happened in the description if you want to see it, and you can hear what that whole palaver was about. But yeah, like, some of the dislikes are real, a lot of them aren't, and it's just kind of there really. It's not something that I think about on the day-to-day basis. I've also had a question about when prefects are needed for visitors and for newspaper photos and things like that. Because this person was wondering, would that affect your grades and things if you were out of class all the time and missing stuff? And at our school what they do is they'd go to the students who had study periods first, because those students would be sitting in the library, they'd just be doing their homework or studying, and they weren't missing any of their classes. So they'd first go there and they'd ask if anybody would like to volunteer. Anybody who had anything important to do would probably say no, that they have other things to do, but then there would be people who'd maybe say, well, I'm just doing my homework, I can do it later. So then they'd go and help out. And then if they needed any other prefects, if they needed a ton of prefects, like for the time when all the students from the primary school came to visit the high school to see what it was like, then they got people out and they tried to make it as little disruption as possible. Like, they maybe tried to get people in study periods first, but then maybe people would just miss one class and catch up with everything later. They really tried to make it so that it wasn't disrupting our learning. I hope you enjoyed that reaction to my prefect video, and also hearing a little bit more about prefects based on the comments on that video. Is there anything else you're wondering about, and what would you like to see me react to next? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching, everybody. Cheerio! Thanks again for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see the original prefect video, check out over here, and YouTube have suggested a video you might enjoy over here, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all my latest videos. Thanks again, everyone. Cheerio.